Well, good morning, snow fans, and welcome to the Snow Church for Monday, March 20th. Yes, here we are, kind of turning the corner. For those of you that like to go by astronomical definition of the seasons, welcome to spring. Us meteorologists have been in spring for 20 days now, so glad you could catch up with us. At any rate, we're kind of turning the corner here on the seasons, not just by the calendar, but in reality. We had a nice snowstorm up here last Thursday night into Friday and Saturday, picking up variable amounts. Some places, about 16 inches or so reported in Hancock. I think we had about 12 to 14 inches here in beautiful downtown scenic Jacobsville. And there were 12-inch plus amounts in many areas of the higher terrain of the western UP, and then also between Marquette and Lansingberga in the higher terrain there. All right, what are we looking at? My old stomping grounds. Well, not really old stomping. I guess you could call it old stomping grounds. I didn't live here, but visited it for 10 years plus. This is Togety, Wyoming. In fact, Togety Pass, looking west towards the lodge. And the lodge meanders along. You meander along this road and go probably about 10 miles or so, and you are at the beautiful Togety Mountain Lodge, which if you've never been there, I highly recommend it. It's not just for off trail or hardcore off trail. It is for trail riding too. I actually hope to get back there someday and do just some plain old trail riding. Looking at the well, here's the snowfall. 3-day snowfall ending this morning, and you can see how the UP and even parts of northern lower Michigan did pretty good. Where you get into this darker shade of orange, that's over 12 inches of snow, between 12 and 8 inches of snow. Probably the only places to not see as much snow as was anticipated was Arrowhead of Minnesota, and then some areas of northern Wisconsin were expected to see heavier totals than they got. I think maybe south central UP also, but so storm was kind of squished down a little bit, I guess you could say, but for the most part followed the script relatively closely. Got a very, very quiet radar, and that is why I had to go all the way out to Togety, because these areas here I could have probably bopped into the mountains in Washington or California, but it's still dark there thanks to the time change. But Wyoming, it was light, and there was some snow falling there. Not a snowflake to be found across the Midwest. And like I say, we are kind of transitioning into a quieter period. There are some snow seen though, especially as we get into late Tuesday and Wednesday. I'm just going with the Midwest map, because that's really all we're probably mainly concentrated on. And these snow churches are probably going to become a little bit shorter against my normal nature of blabbering. But at any rate, we start to see some snows accumulate in Minnesota, northwestern Wisconsin, and eventually into the UP. Not a whole lot into the UP. There's going to be some mixed precipitation that falls in the UP because and northern Wisconsin, just because we're getting to that time of the year. And this is about the time stamp that most of it's ending. This is Wednesday evening at about, I guess, 8 p.m. now that we've sprung forward in the time. And then there's a little bit that tries to get going down around Chicago, right about there and up into lower Michigan. And we'll see if that happens. The timing of that would be over the weekend, and it would be a kind of a who cares or a pain in the butt type snow. Anytime you get snow in Chicago, trust me folks, I lived there for a long time. Anytime you get snow down there in Chicago the third week of March, it's kind of like, really? And then that's it for the European. We can go to the GFS. Poor Bluey sounds like he's going to explode, so I'll rip through this pretty quick. Hang on, Blue. It shows the same thing, as those snows for late Tuesday into Wednesday, and the same type of configuration. Most of it falling in the north central Minnesota with lighter amounts of snow, and then also mixed precipitation across Wisconsin and the UP. And it doesn't have the Chicago snows for next weekend. It has some light snows that occur from time to time, just little weak, like 1-inch type events that come through next week, first half of next week. And then let's go into La La Land, shall we? Yes, La La Land. Oh boy, look at that snowstorm right there for right about the first of the month of April. Wouldn't that just be dandy? Because you know what? The D's are going to be flying out of Rhinelander to Minneapolis and then on down to Florida on April 2nd. But yet we're going to drive from Houghton to Rhinelander on April 1st. So I can pretty much guarantee this storm is going to happen. No, just kidding. It doesn't always work that way for us. It is La La Land. It's a long way out, but I guess if this hit, it would mean guaranteeing riding into April in the UP and probably even northern Wisconsin, as they've got plenty of snow on the ground as well. So that's the down and dirty of it. Kind of quieting down. We have this dream-like or extreme wild card storm for around the 1st of April or so, 30th, 31st of March. Is March 31? Anyway, right around the changeover from March to April. Other than that, some fresh snows in Minnesota late tomorrow into Wednesday. Temperatures aren't going to do anything overly dramatic. They will be getting into the above freezing mark in the Northwoods pretty consistently, but not like major meltdown status. We're not going to be seeing 50s or 60s occur like can happen this time of the year. I think it was 2014, right about this time of year, that we had 70s here in the UP, in the Keweenaw, actually. Nothing like that seen. So we will be gradually melting away the snowpack, but still keeping enough around to play for this coming weekend, and we'll see about the following weekend. Well, that covers it for today, folks. Have a great one, everybody. Keep your sticks on the ice and a smile on your face.